Hello Taurus friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Taurus February 2022 Astrology Must Knows Horoscope Forecast. Click on the little More button with the arrow underneath this video to reveal all of the links to show you how to access free courses, how to run a free birth chart, how to learn astrology with me, reading options, etc. All in the link underneath this video. So if you are a Taurus sun or have a Taurus moon or Taurus rising or any other Taurus placement you watch for, Venus, Mercury, what have you, what we're going to cover here is for you. And if you're a very late degree Taurus or have a very late degree Taurus placement, so we'll say like May 15th through the rest of the sign or 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I also suggest you watch my Gemini report because you very late, very cuspy people have a more complex read and you'll benefit from both. So let's get right in here. We have a very rare month in the way that it's a lot less active than usual. We have less aspects, period. We are not in an eclipse season still, which is very helpful. We don't have any major outer planet clashes in a bad way, although we do have a sweet outer planet combination. So it's a pretty chill month compared to what we're usually dealing with. Of course, that's not to say that someone can't have anything dramatic or life-changing happen, because when the aspects in the sky connect into our chart, we can have a different experience that is not consistent with the general astrology. But from the general astrological standpoint, we get a little break here. So let's look at my list that I have of Taurus must-knows, and we're going to go right down the line. We're going to talk about this Capricorn fellow Earth sign spree, why we're having this going on, and what that means for Taurus. We'll look at the Aquarius aspects and see what that brings up for you all. We're also going to talk about that new moon and full moon. And we've got this epic aspect between Jupiter and Uranus. It's rare that we've got a nice aspect in the outer planets these days. Usually we've been just getting shellacked by the outer planets coming together in harsh configurations, which has been so much a part of the experiences we've had for the last couple of years. But here we've got a couple of months focused very tightly with some extra special days in February with a sweet aspect that we're going to go into. I'm also going to give you a visual calendar snapshot of the whole first quarter of 2022, January through April, where you'll get some sneak peeks. Understanding the energies after and before February will really help to put it in context, and I'll also help you align with the retrograde energy versus the direct energy. We are opening up into our first, and I believe best, launch open period of the whole year, and we have less of those this year because Mars retrograde will be in effect towards the end of the year. So if you've got big things you've got to do, big decisions, we've got a window of time that's opening, and I'll show you all of that visually on a calendar. And then this Jupiter connection that we have just from Jupiter's transit is also making a nice aspect for Taurus. So those are the things we're going to hit, and let's just go right here in order. When there are planets in a fellow element to your sign, the stars are speaking your language, okay? So we've got Mercury, Venus, Mars, all in fellow Earth sign, making a trine, the most favorable aspect in all of astrology to your placement. So this is enlivening your capacity to be productive, be disciplined, be consistent, get your budget straight, get things in your financial world set, do important things with your work and employment, do things with your family, with your father figures or bosses, anything with your identity, like what you're trying to bring out into the world or how you see yourself, your self-esteem, your health, all of these things, your love, your money, how you use your energy, your productivity, your oomph, your ambitions, all of those things can get a major boost from the trines that are happening in Capricorn. The reason why we're having this unusual combination of Capricorn energies here in February, which doesn't usually happen, is because Mercury, when it was in retrograde, dipped back into Capricorn, so it's there longer, and Venus was just in retrograde in Capricorn, and it's just newly direct. So we've got those two planets that usually wouldn't be in Capricorn at this time. Then Mars joined the party. Every little over 2 years, Mars will get back into Capricorn, and that's happening at this time as well. So that's what's going on. Other things that are being supported and highlighted from these aspects and this beautiful combination, is immigration, education, optimism, spiritual understandings about things, anything having to do with teaching or learning or international travel, immigration, things like that, all have a chance to have blessings from this set of trines. So that is very exciting. Okay, so now we've got another big must know, which is we've got Aquarius transits. Now the energy of the Aquarius placements compared to Taurus are not as yay as the Capricorn placements because they create a square. But the good news for Taurus about squares is that they usually involve some pressure, and they usually also involve some accomplishment from the pressure. And Taurus people are no strangers to pressure. They know how to handle that, right? Because that is the story of your life. So having a little pressure exerted from some planets here is not going to be the end of the world. It's not going to be, this is something that's pushing you along to get something done that you might not want to do, or that maybe you should have been doing, but you weren't. Or it's just a nuisance thing that has to be dealt with and you just got to get through it. Okay, but you have a lot of support from those trines that hopefully can soften any of the things that are going on with the Aquarius movements. Just look out around the days around February 1st, the days before and after, because we do have a new moon that is conjunct Saturn or close there to Saturn, and it can bring a reality check, or it could bring some criticism, or it could gel something. You could start to see signs of something gelling that you've been working on for a long time. Whenever Saturn is involved, something with a long-term project is also involved. And because of this extra energy in Capricorn, it was in December, it's in January, it's in February, it's going into March. There's this sustained experience of focus on getting business done, getting tangible outcomes, getting, your ideas and your creativity gelled into a manifestation that's very clear and physical. So it's a very, very good time that could be very much like a harvest time for you, which could be very exciting because you might see the results of labors from the past, and you might start to get some good momentum with, things you're working on for the future. Okay, so in the days in the middle of the month, around the 16th, we've got a full moon in Leo. And Leo is the sign of drama. Literally, the dramatic arts theater is the Leo energy, or ruled by the Leo energy. So in the middle of the month there, we've got a little drama coming. And this could be centered around stuff with your home or family or a housing situation. Again, with these angles, these are pressure angles. So you've got it coming from the Leo end, you've got it coming from the Aquarius end. It's a 90-degree angle. It's exerting pressure. So work has some pressure, home has some pressure, but it doesn't have to be a problem. This can just be, you've got a lot going on extra in both of those arenas, and they both need attention, but maybe the things going on are good things. There's nothing about these aspects that say that they have to be bad things happening. What they do say is they're pressure, and that is definitely for sure. You'll feel that. But along with the pressure, we have the sweet things we talked about before, and something else that's beautiful, which is Jupiter. Jupiter is the great expander, and the great expander seeks to bring optimism, growth, an expansion. And it's called the Great Benevolent or the Great Benefic. So this arena of the internet-based projects, humanitarian efforts, friendships, you're finding your tribe or people that you resonate with, that you can work, feel like you're in a cohesive group with, anything having to do with those things, social groups, are all seeking to be expanded from the end of December through May, and for those of you later in the sign, this will extend even longer than that. But what it is doing is making a 60-degree angle, which is another one of those very favorable angles. So you've got the support of the Great Benefic on your side, and all Tauruses can feel that. And there's a lot of information that's being put towards your identity. This was true for all the Cap placements. This is true for all the Aquarius and then the Leo thing. Like, all of this is kind of pointing towards your ascendant line or your sun placement, whatever you're watching, your Taurus placement for. all of this energy is directed towards that placement. So there's something really important happening there with your re-identification as doing something or wanting to be someone else. Maybe you are an architect and now you want to be an artist, or whatever it is that you're seeing yourself as, including your physical body and your relationship with your physical body, has a massive amount of opportunities. So if you're trying to heal any eating issues or weight issues or self-esteem issues, there's a massive concentration just really pushing towards that end. And if there's a psychological situation like trauma or something from your past that's part of that story, it's like there's a holistic approach that wants to come in now, where you're working on a number of different levels to improve your view of yourself. Because what we believe is really golden in our world, but we have to believe it with integration in our whole being. So if you consciously believe something, but you don't unconsciously believe it, which you can't always tell if you unconsciously believe it, but you do know if you're continuing to manifest a certain pattern that there's an unconscious belief system there. So it's like you're getting information about all of the different layers that are involved with everything that you're creating in life, and you'll get some really great insights into why you've been getting stuck in certain patterns and how you can get unstuck. So that's very exciting. So all of you have the help from Jupiter and these other aspects, but those of you who are between 7 and 13 degrees, or that's going to be like the end of April through early May, those are really, getting concentrated on for your Jupiter kiss. And if you want to know with exactitude, because since the sun doesn't move into each sign on the same day every year, that's why I have to say days around, because it's not the same. If you were born in 1972, the sun might go into Taurus on a different day than if for someone who was born in a different year, which staggers where that spectrum is. That's why the way that you can find the exactitude is to know your birth chart. So if you haven't already, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com. Right there, front and center, put your name and email address, sign up for my free email newsletter. In the welcome letter, you'll get access to how to run a free birth chart. Run the free birth chart, then you can see all the degrees, so that when I give you all these juicy things, you know when something is exactly hitting in your chart. Okay, so I give you as best of an estimation as I can, but if you want to drill down more, you can use those resources. Okay, so now the last thing before we get into the calendar and to what Jupiter and Uranus with this beautiful aspect can bring, is to know that everyone in the zodiac can have blessings from Jupiter kissing Uranus. But those of you at 11 degrees, between 6 and 16 degrees and the closer to 11, the more of a beautiful kiss you're going to get. The water and the earth signs are getting extra goodies from this aspect, and you're in there. All right, so if you've got something near 11 degrees, so again, this is going to be like the end, let's say the very beginning of May and the days leading up to that. So like the last 5 or so days of April, the first 6 or so days of May, the closer to right at the beginning of May, the more you're getting a kiss from this magnificent placement. So just keep that in mind. Then we're going to go into the calendar, then we'll go into Jupiter and Uranus, and then you can, see where you fit into there.
Okay, so to better understand the energies of February and how to use them, it will be very helpful to understand the energies that are surrounding February and running our compare and contrast. And plus you get a sneak peek into the whole full first quarter of 2022. So we're going to check this out. I'll give you details about this as it relates to the energies of retrograde and direct, and then we'll hit our retrograde direct list, so that you can see what types of activities to align in what location on our calendar here. Okay, so here we are in February. Now, just to give a little backdrop, January we had Mercury go retrograde on January 14th. That shadow period had started in the last couple of days of December. So essentially all of January is full of retrograde energy. All right, Mercury was retrograde, Venus was retrograde, didn't go direct till the end of the month. Now, we still are having a carryover of that energy into February, because even though Mercury is direct right here at the beginning, it doesn't clear out of its post-shadow period until the 24th. This is what I mean about this hybrid energy, because the energy after the 24th is more in the direct energy, and then that just steamrolls and gets stronger on the 2nd of March when the energies become more completely clear, and we open into our first open launch period and our first of only 2 open launch periods of the whole year. Now we'll come back to this calendar, but I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the retrograde and direct energies to help you understand. January and for most of February, we've been in Retroville, okay? So this is a time when things are going inwards and backwards. The tides are coming in. If you're trying to put something out onto the water, into the world, the tides are going to just roll it right back in. So it's better to just deal with what comes up. I always like to say, be the spider and eat the food that comes to you instead of trying to go out and find a bunch of food or, weave a bunch of webs and push and, make things happen. This is a time that, although the energies are strong with Capricorn energy in January and February, which is good for getting stuff done, it's still better for dealing with the things you have to deal with that have piled up, that, clearing out the clutter, doing your taxes, researching things for the future, wrapping up loose ends. You'll have a lot of focus towards tedious tasks, but that doesn't mean you should be trying to push them out very far. You just kind of deal with them as they come up. It can lend itself to a little confusion because with the retrogrades, things get called into question. So for most of February, we still have some things possibly being called into question, especially that first half. And it's a time really to just honor the flow. If you're trying to do something and it's not working, don't force it, and you'll have a much happier relationship with the retrogrades. So it's a time to be in the moment and just, leave room for last minute magic. But basically leave yourself unscheduled as possible in your circumstance to leave room for this last minute magic. Okay, so just to go back now, this retro that we talked about, this is all of January and pretty much the first half of February, with it starting to wane after the second half of February as we get towards February 24th. But then once we get into February 24th and being triumphantly reiterated as we get to March 2nd, and then very strong from March 2nd through April 27th, is the big open time for launches. So let's look at what that means. So that is the direct energy. Direct in this instance is talking about no personal planets being retrograde. Personal planets, Venus, Mercury, Mars are the personal planets that go retrograde. And we have another retrograde year here because we've got Mars retrograde towards the end of the year. So we've only got another time, part of June, all of July, part of August, that will be completely free from personal planet retrogrades. And of those 2 windows, this window, this March 2nd through April 27th window is even more strong for launches than that June through August one, because we've got all these Aries energies that will be coming up in March. And that is really good for bursting things out into the world. So here's where you want to do your big launches, your big life dream decisions, get your book out, engagements, weddings, marriages. Spring or fall for you all down under is a lovely time for weddings. And this is a really fantastic time in the stars. Agreements, commitments, investments, moves, brand new projects, having clarity, future planning, and to push, initiate, and even force sometimes. If you have to push through something within yourself, it's much easier to push things out into the world when the tides are going out, as they will be towards the end of February. Okay, so once we get around Valentine's Day, February 14th, things are starting to look pretty clear. We still have another 10 days of the haze until we get it completely clear. And then we still have a little lingering energy of Venus, Venus, of course, ruling love, beauty, money. I went into those energies at, fully in the November, December, January horoscopes, and you can search for Botticelli Venus retrograde to understand that more. but that's very, very important to understand. Okay, so while we've got our calendar here, let's just hit a couple of more points. Eclipse season is going to start mid-March because it starts around 4 to 6 weeks before the first eclipse, which in this case actually is April 30th. And then there's one in May as well. These are the Taurus Scorpio eclipses. And so those types of, big changes, the anxiety, the butterflies, the feeling like your finger's stuck in a socket, we've got a break here in February from that. Because even though we can see eclipse news or eclipse related news come in at any time during the years of the eclipse cycle, they tend to heat up in the 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipse. So this February time is really nice in that way, that we are free of the heat of eclipse season. And actually February is one of the most non-eventful astrological months of the whole year. We've, a lot of times we've got a lot of things going on. In February, we have a little bit less. So it's just kind of, it's a hybrid in the way that it's, retrograde for part and direct for part. But we don't have as many planets clashing. We don't have any of the big negative planet clashes that we've been having. And actually we have a super positive one, which we're going to talk about more after this. But I just want to show you the dates on the calendar here. Mid-January through mid-March, this Jupiter sextile Uranus aspect. Now, we've been getting shellacked by outer planets connecting in a difficult way. When outer planets come together, it's very powerful and have very strong lasting effects for everybody, and the aspects usually last for a long time because those planets are slower moving. So we only have one pass of this Jupiter-Uranus beautiful kiss, and the strongest part of it will be here February 17th through the 21st. But the whole month before and after, the energies are very strong. So let's talk about what the blessings and potential positive effects of the Jupiter-Uranus connections will be. Okay, let's drill down into the exciting transit of Jupiter sextile Uranus. As we've been talking about, we have been having a lot of difficulties with the outer planets, these slower moving planets that once they come into a configuration, they stay in it for a while. Except that has been very heavy because the configurations that have been happening over the last couple of years have been consistently difficult. But now we have a beautiful period where we've got the outer planets, two of them, Jupiter and Uranus, Jupiter in Pisces and Uranus in Taurus, coming together in this fabulous combination. So we're going to talk about some things that go on as positive potentials. But let's first look at what we're looking at here. So here is the planet Uranus. And here is Jupiter. Jupiter's in Pisces. And this meeting is actually going to occur at 11 degrees. Okay, so once Jupiter moves to the 11 degree of Pisces position, it will lock in place into a sextile, which is a 60-degree angle. If you've been listening to my work for a while, you know that a 60-degree angle is the opportunity angle. It's the ingredients on a counter angle where we're presented with a bunch of different options to make beautiful meals in our lives. That's a figurative and possibly literal as well. But we have to do something with it. So this is a time where you have to really look for, sometimes it will be apparent, but you have to look for and do something with the potentials, and then you can activate this expansion of Jupiter, the intuition and artistic connectedness to all things of Pisces, the emotional high EQ, and this Uranus, the innovation and surprises and sudden insights and sudden events in this grounded energy of Taurus, meaning the very unstable energy of Uranus is able to be much more manifested into form, which is a hard thing to do with Uranus. It's very fleeting. So the combination of the solidness of the earth placement, the
really just innovative and futuristic energies of Uranus combined with this beautiful, emotional, intuitive, expansive energy. So anything that combines all of those energies, there will be lots of opportunities. Now, the dates that are most active are February 17th through the 21st. This is the big day when the official degree and minute line up, but they're still matching at 11 degrees through this time, from February 17th to February 21st. But from all of mid-January, and sensitive people could feel it a little sooner, even beginning of January, possibly even sooner, but certainly mid-January through mid-March. And again, sensitive people, if you're looking out, you might see those effects kind of drizzling in later. But we've definitely got a 2-month period where this energy is very strong and very usable. So we could discover the power of rest and quiet revealing itself in wonderful ways. Through sudden insights, problem solving, awarenesses of the past, dips into the future. In this particular configuration, daring to do something different can yield very positive results. Now, I'm not talking about, and here we can kind of talk about this, indulging in a crazy idea can work out big time. We're not talking about super reckless, very dangerous things necessarily, unless intuitively there's something very specific in that for you. But in general, this is something with like a calculated risk. That Taurus energy with the Uranus really likes that calculated risk, but just having the daringness to do something different. And that's very subjective. So you doing something different, can feel like a big deal to you, this thing you're going to do. But someone else might not think twice about doing that particular thing. So it's a relative experience, but it could work out really well. Taking a step away from an issue or a pattern could reveal sudden life-changing insights and outcomes. So that's this, Jupiter in Pisces, where we're expanding that quiet space. I like to call it the space of private personal pursuits. And then anything artistic in nature, finding your voice with your art, stepping into art for the first time, expanding the artistic endeavors you have. Artistic endeavors can take on more special significance at this time. And any psychological or other inner work can actually expand even further and include sudden healings of addictions, fear, or anxiety. Now, just to, be very raw here, as humans, we're probably never going to be completely free of fear, right? But the patterns and the addictive pattern of feeling when we have to be afraid, we could have some major impact here, including perfect practitioners that come in, modalities that come in that can be helpful, or our sudden and clear commitment to use tools to help us to calm down when we get anxious. Tools like EFT, the emotional freedom technique. There are so many tools you can look for, tools to clear fear, tools, self-help for anxiety. And of course, if it's very extreme and you need help, then this might be a time where you can find someone that can really help you. And innovation and intuition commingling in powerful ways. So this is just a really magical time full of promise, with that little note, though, the little footnote that says, but hey, it's a sextile, so you might actually have to do something with those possibilities that are surrounding you to activate their full glory. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that, and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs And you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumelife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.